What's that mean?
No moss.
No more.
No moss. Ah, quitters. Clifford? Come on, Clifford. Come on.
Goodness gracious.
Smells delicious. No moss. No moss.
No moss. We surrendered. The white flag is up.
Does that mean you're not boiling?
We're boiling. No,
I saw steam.
Stop's done. We're cleaning tanks, sterilizing them.
I got you.
Making our last.
How's it going, man?
Nope. I thought you'd like that.
I did. We saw it when we came in.
I said you had to be filming on your way. How's it going? Good to see you.
And I said, why are you guys always quitting?
No, you're 66 degrees in here today and 65.
Are the trees just done? It's just
slowed way up. So,
like, how much are you getting on a day at this point, boiling?
well, we kept getting less sapping, making more syrup because it got sweeter at the end. You know, I've never seen that.
No kidding.
So we ended up, I don't know what it was today, but it was 1.3. Last night it was still 1.3. It was 1.1 for a while. We went up.
Now show me the totals. Let's see what we got.
We're almost there.
You're gonna pass last year?
No, we have less taps. We passed it by pounds per tap.
I got you.
Because we've got, last year we were at 22,200. Is that right? This year we're at 21,600.
So what are you,
800 less taps.
per pound where you at?
We're at
Or per tap?
I think we're at 7.4 something. We should end up 7.45. So
7 point.
third year in a row over 7 pounds. It's
Gotcha.
called consistency.
So you're actually running. I feel the heat.
Oh yeah, we're
It's just so quiet.
I haven't drawn off yet.
It's just dang quiet, you know?
Just it's a matter of defoaming a lot.
Yeah, that's what happens at the end of the year, buddy. Alex! How's it going, dude?
I'm good.
So the late season sap almost smells like it's a dairy product a little bit. Little different odor. But it's still usable. There's people that use this. And chemical companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, some stuff not edible, but you can use it as like a catalyst. Chemical process. Yeah.
Hey, there's our window.
Let's see it. Overall, you're pretty happy with the season?
Yeah. 2 years ago, we had half the top row. Last year, we had one on the top row.
So this is every drum?
Yeah, it starts at the bottom left, serpentine.
So serpentine's this way? Huh.
Yeah.
I noticed the ones on the edge look like they're actually dark, but it's because of the window.
Yeah, it's the window.
I was like, how did you magically have dark ones? This stuff's pretty light.
This is really good light in here, and then what they call Bud Light. And it's a factor of that was cold, and that up there, it's the pH of the sap.
Yeah.
As it goes down, the sap.
You can actually see the pH drop. You guys measure it.
Yeah, we do measure it.
So you know when it starts changing.
Yeah, we have pH meters. Watch these.
So which drum about did the pH start changing?
I think probably up in here. This was a nice cold run of sap.
So that's going to be good tasting.
Yeah, and then I think the top 2 rows, it probably goes down a little bit, and then you get into your processing in the rest row or so or something.
Gotcha. And then what you're making, how many drums you think you got left?
And we ran out of 40s, so all those are 40s. We're into the 55s.
Gotcha.
One way, you don't have to return them.
Yeah.
They're going to Ohio.
Souvenir. So when you buy syrup from Sidelands Maple, you actually get a souvenir drum.
No, only those 3.
Not the stainless ones.
No, the stainless one's got to come back. We borrowed some from a neighbor. We were in that neighbor had 6. We pulled those, filled those. And
so did you actually made 3 truckloads?
Yeah.
Plus a little bit.
It's 88 drums per truckload of the 40s.
Really? That's all?
Yeah. Well, you get 90 in if you push it, but 88 fills the row in the back.
I always thought it was 100 drums.
No. They don't
44.
like to go over 90.
Really?
Because they're 500 pounds, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true.
490.
That's true.
And that's 490. So I figure 500, so that's 45,000 pounds.
So what do you got for everybody? You did the loop saddle last time, and everybody loves the loop saddle. What do you got now?
We got a thing about how we pull spouts, because you think you just pull them. There's more to it than that to do it right.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think there's a way you want to pull them. And, you know, I gave that presentation at
So what do you got?
last spring.
I noticed you have a long one there.
Fitch pullers. He makes them. These are designed to pull. We use.
So who makes these?
Alex, right here.
You made these?
I make them, yep.
Did you make them left-handed and right-handed?
Yep. Yep, I do.
Only for guys like you that want to run. We'll
Yeah.
put a right or a left on it.
That's funny. Oh, you need a right-handed one.
Yeah. So the ones that we had didn't really work very well, even on the old stuff, the old stuff that we used. So I decided to make my own, and the last couple of years been.
So there's a way you guys do it that's different.
Yeah, we just think about it more.
I got
than
you.
other people.
What are you?
I gave that presentation at Baskin's, how you close out your season.
Is how you
start the next season. It's how you close out this season.
Fred, haven't you been saying that?
People, yep. I can tell you.
Fred says that's one of Fred's most frustrating things is we're never ready.
Yeah, you should be ready when you're done with the season you just finished. You should be able to just.
But I'm
tap out,
tired.
Go down and just have.
But aren't you tired?
You're tired, but you know all the problems you have.
That's true.
You forget about them over the summer.
Yeah. I always say we'll get it after the season,
Yeah.
and then I never
You
do.
gotta stay on it. And the biggest thing is pump stations and mouse proofing them. That'll be your biggest damage. They get into drives. They just leap half.
So you answered one of the questions that we were going to ask, was how do you remember when there's a broken tree that has a...
They're written down up there right now. We started pulling spouts yesterday, and our young guy is cleaning tanks right now. He should write it down every day, and it gets fixed every day.
So how does the phrase go? How you end the season?
This is how you begin the next season.
Okay.
Yeah, so
your
I wouldn't
next season
have-
starts now.
yeah, we're already thinking about what we got to do so that when we come in the fall and we tap out, we're making syrup. We don't have vacuum leaks. That's where the fall vacuum check comes in. But the
That's
fall
right. You do
vac-
a fall vacuum check.
That's predicated on how you pull your spouts and how you get them tight and how everything's tight when you end. Because otherwise you're fighting danglers, stuff that comes off the teeth.
You can't do a good check.
You can't do a good check. So that starts now.
I got
And all
you.
your pump stations, you want to shut the door, have them mouse proofed, you open the door and you're ready to go.
So
Clean and ready.
when you take your spouts out, you're putting them...
We put them tight. Yeah, you'll see. We're gonna.
Are they stubbies?
Yep. So we're using the Lapierre stubbies with the liter H2O check valves.
I got you.
Adapters.
Why do you like the Lapierre stubbies?
They're just rugged, and they hold the adapters really well. Like CDL stubbies, you can't use the check valves with them.
And then the leader ones.
The liter ones are just, I think the Lapierre stubbies are hard to beat. They work for everything. And they don't
gotcha.
come off. They stay on pretty well. We had to learn.
So there's really maybe no difference. Maybe the Lapierre stubbies, is it less money too?
No, probably the same.
Or you just like the taper to it?
Yeah, I just like the way they fit.
Kind of like a good pair of shoes.
I like my Lapierre dealers, so they
There you go.
right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Lapierre, we like that. We like this. We used to use Lapierre adapters, and those were tricky. You could easily put them on so hard you can't spread the two, get them apart, which is a problem. But when we went to the leader check valves, you got to put them on hard.
Yeah.
But then you got to get them apart. So that's why this tool, a lot of people, after the videos last year, a lot of people went to the system I'm using. Scott Wheeler's been using it for years. People say they want the straight through, put the tubing on the, because that's just another.
Because they don't like the right angle is what you're
They
saying.
don't like the right angle, or they don't like another flip seam. It never leaks on that. And we've been running super high vacuum. That wasn't a single leak on that.
No, I've never seen
And I don't think when we had the ice storm, the ice never knocked the stubby out of the check valve. We broke the check valve in the tree or ripped the tubing off the stubby. We never had stubbies, and we put them on tight, but that's why this tool works really good for prying them out.
So you actually pop the stubby out first. Okay.
We'll pull a few. We probably still have some.
What did you call this? The Alex Extendomatic Stubby.
The Fitch spout puller. Alex Fitch spout puller. And the Jackman one. No, those guys wanted a long one. That guy up there that has the kettles,
Yeah.
He's got to have a long one. And I don't know if he likes them, but his guys came down here at the end of the season.
They saw him.
And they wanted them. So I got to go up and see Sean. I'm going to.
This is metal. Is that one aluminum?
No,
It's conduit. It's metal conduit, electrical conduit.
Oh, okay.
we use. That's the Jackson one.
Because they got
So the Jackman one's a little taller for the snow.
yeah.
That's funny.
They wanted 4-footers. Here's our new young guy. He's the new guy to the team.
Oh yeah.
It's Riley.
All right.
He's learning all the ins and outs.
Ryland or
Riley.
Riley, gotcha.
Riley Morris. He's
How far
he's
is he?
already got it figured out how to find leaks. We had him out finding some.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's got it right down. He pulled a bunch of spouts. He's pulled 1,000 spouts
Already.
this morning.
So which one of your lines you got offline, or you're already shut them down?
The vacuum pump's off, but it's so tight. The other day I shut it off at 8 o'clock at night, and at 9 o'clock the next morning I still had 11 inches of vacuum.
Oh, are you
So
serious?
We still have enough vacuum to pull some spouts.
That's not bad, Fred. I
That's
think
21,000 taps. That's a big. It's almost a little. That's a lot. There's a lot of places you can have leaks.
All your squirrels are still hibernating then.
Or dead. Yeah, actually, we had one squirrel that chewed us 3 times, and then he stopped chewing, so I'm thinking something ate him.
coyote
Yeah, coyote got him.
or a fisher. I think a fisher will get them, right?
Coyotes, yep. Fox, maybe?
We've got a phone.
Fox. We got a fox.
Have you seen a fisher out here?
Oh, yeah, we have them all the time.
I heard they're like pretty
Yeah,
aggressive.
one time, years ago, we were tapping. I had a young dog, and he treed one. He was hanging in the tree, like right there. He's looking at me, spitting and hissing. Just mean critters.
Yeah, they'll do a number on a chicken coop
We
too.
think we get chews from them, too.
Yeah.
The fishers.
Some of the chews, and we think we get fox chews occasionally, too.
Yeah.
Really,
So I want to get this straight. You actually shut your vacuum off.
yeah.
Last night.
About over an hour ago. No, I shut off an hour ago today, but last week when it was cold, it was 17 degrees here. It was like 22 degrees at 9 o'clock, so I shut the vacuum down.
And the next day you still had
The next day I
11.
came out, it was thawing out, and it was still a lot of vacuum on it. So we shut off 2 hours ago. I'll bet we go up there and look, there's still 20 inches of vacuum at least.
Ah, that's interesting.
We drained it down below to clean the releaser down there. We shut it off and then drained it out.
I think Trump would still be at 29. Trump did it.
Yeah, right. Let's grab this spout puller. Nice new one. We'll go out and pull some spouts.
The Fitch spout puller.
Yeah, I thought this was an appropriate video for the end of the
Heck
season.
yeah.
Yeah.
You always have a good idea.
I don't know if it's good idea. You can smell it. Hold
Smells.
on. I want to make sure Alex has got the evaporator in the truck.
He's always got something
Yeah,
good to
you
show
did
people.
this, right? Keep on the hell out of this. And also, the first one,
Is that high-speed duct tape?
High speed duct tape, buddy.
That's that Gorilla tape.
Yeah, you can ask him. I don't know, that might be Alex's truck.
That's my truck.
What happened? High
A
speed?
dumpster got me. I was backing out of a parking lot because the plow truck was there. Dumpster was right on the edge.
Was
and
it
came
that-
around the corner,
was it the
and
thing
the
on the-
front end slid into the dumpster. It was nighttime. I was using the mirror. I thought I was clear, and then whoop, because I had to make the corner right there. It was backing. The front end slid, and the little post went right through the door.
So another episode of SAP Lessons with Dan and Dan.
We're gonna finish siding the house, the building here. That's one of the summer's projects.
Gotcha.
So,
Need some lumber.
we got the lumber. It's like my friend has a lumber mill.
There you go.
It's been there for 2 years. We haven't got around to it.
How'd your little marine pump work?
A little 12 volter.
We had a good luck. Those guys just closed it down today and cleaned it all. Took the pumps out. They're on the floor. I think we've got. What do we have? Oh yeah, right here we got. We got to walk up the hill. Can you make it in there?
Getting my stress test
You
done.
guys been in the truck for 2 days.
Right.
Need some work.
This is good.
These guys are shut off. These ones aren't. And we just got to get up here. And we're pretty particular about how we pull them. It
Why?
makes a difference when you go to do a fall vacuum check. And also if you're looking for where people miss them and stuff. So if you're consistent about how you cap them off, you can, if one looks, you can look at the woods and that one doesn't look right. And then you go up and find someone still left them in the tree.
I gotcha.
We tap a lot of taps below the lateral line on some of our smaller trees.
So are you saying you put the loop down below so you could see them?
No, just to more area of the trees. Some of the trees here have been tapped every year since 1948. And some of them are pretty small. So anyway,
I see you got blue.
yeah, he got the good colors. So this guy, these were tapped on December 4th. So we tapped on December 4th. We have 21,600 taps. We had 17,000 in by, I think, the 15th of December. We had our record April production this year.
Really?
So you can, if you do it right, you can extend your season from December into mid-April. So we get up in between. Usually you get, there's a little bit of
I hear it.
going. So usually you get the spout. We always say drop the spout. Don't mess with it. Let the air go through. You want a dry line. That's the best thing.
Okay.
So, and then you pull the spout. Okay? So that's what we do.
Let me see that
And
guy.
we always do it in that order, because if you pull this out and tap it, you walk away with the spout still in the tree, and that will happen all the time. We get one person that doesn't listen, and we find spouts in the tree all the time. So always, and you want some time with the air. A lot of times I'll kind of hold it. So this is what we do. We don't cap off like most people would just do this.
Yes.
And then that drop line swings like that.
And now all the liquid's going to end up in there.
That's where the coyote chews it.
I got you.
He can get it. We're not Jackman, Maine. We aren't up here. This is coyote chew. So we say try to keep it off. We always do it the same way. We come behind, and then we put it on. And you get it nice and tight. You can squeeze it, twist it.
So that'll keep it up off the ground.
Kept it up in the air. In case the air goes.
You know, these little details, they add up.
And if they're all the same way, you can spot something that isn't right. So here's one that's.
Why did you think of that?
It's dumb.
that one fell down a little bit, but it's still around.
I see.
So, you know.
Yeah, so like you can see those have been pulled, but
The
that
other
one fell.
issue is always go away from the tree. So I notice I pulled here.
Yep.
If I put my root over here, the squirrel comes up and chews it.
Yep.
So this is important. Keeps anything you can do to lessen the getting chewed.
Are you concerned about that tree not healing?
No, I think it's going to heal now.
Well, that's the old bark.
These trees are old. So let's see what happens. Sometimes I'm going to make this one. Sometimes you get them both together. Like that one's going to come out.
So you were trying to get them both
Yeah,
together.
I'm going to pull them together. So sometimes they come out together. That's where you have problems.
Sure.
And so that's why this is nice. You can just put it on.
And it just wedges
and
in
you
there.
just wedges in and you just get it out. Alex actually, he got some technique. I don't know so he does it. He just whacks it on the tree and it comes out.
Huh.
comes out quick. I don't like it because then I got to lean over, and I'm old and I don't like leaning over and picking things up. So anyway, and then again I go back. So, nice and tight. You get an end drop. The T is on against the tree. You can cap it anyway. It doesn't really matter.
These should be named
Yeah.
Crocker spouts right here. The blue ones are the Crocker spouts.
Yeah, we had a few of them left over. Look at how clean they are. That's December 4th. This tree.
This is
This
insane.
is the first line I tapped this year.
Look how clean that is.
Tapped early morning, December 4th.
Aren't you
that
the one
guy.
that said you don't replace drops?
No, we're not going to replace the drops. That's the plan.
So by doing this, you don't have to keep cutting off.
Well, it's because everything's on the south side of the tree. That's what that pullback is there. That's a pullback. Notice this is only on the warm side. We usually avoid a sharp bend like that.
Okay. That's not so.
But that's on the warm side.
I got you.
And it's towards the top.
But when you say pullback, you're using these.
Yeah, we use the clips and pull back. This
around it.
around it and around it.
And that's why your spouts, the whole thing is, I say, don't back up your lines.
Don't back up.
And you learn when you're out in the woods, I'm always observing. But what happens is something leaks, it backs up, maybe the main line, you had a leak and it froze, and then now they're backing up and you're contaminating your lines. So if you stay on the warm side, the sun comes out, the tree is ready to go.
So what you're saying
where
is,
we
if
get
you do it the quote normal way,
Yeah, I'd have gone.
you're
around.
abnormal.
Maybe
We've
spinning
established
around here, yeah.
we've
This is
established
a really-
that.
So this is my oldest tubing. This is 6 years old. So we replaced everything over the last 6 years. This was the first bunch that we redid. It looks pretty good for 6 years.
So what he's saying is, if you go around the north side of that tree, that could stay frozen because it's in the dark side of the
Really?
moon, right?
If you come up in the morning, it's 32 degrees, and you had a hard run, and your tubing line froze pretty much full. They do that. You go up and you'll look and you'll see it goes up, and all of a sudden you have one that goes around the north side, especially a bigger tree. It'll be frozen, and the whole line's backed up from there.
And then that's
So
how
means
that
this
sap,
is backed up into the tree, especially if you don't have a check valve.
and that's what's contaminating. The check valve is your last resort.
Yeah.
You're not
want
you're not relying on it. It's just there just in case.
Absolutely.
I got you.
So that's why, in the fall vacuum check, again, get all your leaks, because when you start up the year, it took us no time at all to get the few leaks we had, because things were tight. So that's why we put these on tight. It's always someone that doesn't, and then we're chasing danglers. So when we do the fall, we walk all our tubing, get it cleaned up, put any danglers we see on, then we turn the vacuum, we get the rest of the danglers we didn't see, any squirrel chews. We don't get it perfect, but we try to get it up to like 28 inches. You can't find everyone. There's no sap and all. It's hard. And a lot of the air is just, you get some of these are just slightly leaking. They're not super tight. So you could be chasing stuff forever. So we don't get totally crazy.
Your tees, are they Lapierre tees?
These are Lapierre 3-way tees. I got some CDL tees.
Will they work with any tee?
These have got the 3-way steps, so you can put tubing on them. You can put they're tapered enough. You can put pretty much anything.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If we think the spout got like stretched and it goes on too far, we'll cut that little nip off.
I got you.
But I kind of like it. I think it keeps also, there's another thing I want to point out is sometimes when we're pulling, they're clogged. You get a few. We've had a couple out of 1,000 so far. So you don't hear it
it's like wood shavings or whatever.
Just bacteria gets in there, the white snot. But you can just sit here and whack them. They usually open up. And also we carry a twist tie and we can clean it out. If you can't get it there, we cut the spout off. If it's not getting any vacuum after the spout's off, we know it's the T. And depending on if it's Alex or I, we fix it. If it's one of the other guys, they cut the spout, they leave it off if it's the T. They plug it off and they flag it and they tell us, and we go and fix it right then and there.
But if you unplug it, doesn't the vacuum suck it in instead of coming out?
Yeah, it'll suck it all down. And that's the other thing.
So actually, when you whack it, it's not coming out the stubby.
No, we whack it and it just sucks it right down the line.
Okay.
So
Snot sucker.
we also run pretty high vacuum when we pull. We kind of channel it where we're going, so we can shut off anything.
I got you.
And we'll shut off some of the sidelines. And we're so tight that it doesn't really matter. The vacuum pump, ours will just barely idle. We'll set it for 27.5 and it barely idles. Depends how many people are pulling. But we like to keep it above 27. It does make a difference as you get more air flushing in there. You want that line dry as much as possible. So you can see that's completely dry.
So it's the end of the season, but also the beginning of the season.
Yep. Got broken lines here. So these guys just come out. This is how I come right up. And we have ammo bags. We put them in and they hold about 200 and they have a zipper. You unzip them and dump them into the 5-gallon pail.
I got you. So you don't have to take it off.
Yeah, so we just kind of move around. It was a good snug.
Yeah, I would have never noticed it if I walked up in here. I'd have he's just closing them back up.
I was the one that tapped this line. This is a leader key.
The red one? Yeah.
And we like to keep them when you're setting up, if someone's setting up. You want to keep them away from the tree. We now make our end drops extra long, and we keep them away, because it doesn't take long for that tree grows and that drop is up against it. Plus, the farther away from the tree, the less apt you're going to get chewed. And again, notice I'm away from the tree. I don't cap off. This would be the mistake people make. It's not really a mistake, but it's just increasing your chances of getting chewed.
So just by doing that.
Yeah, so just a little thing here.
That's just, I'd have never thought of it. Would you have thought of it?
I don't know.
I mean, most people pull spouts as fast as they can.
They're done.
You can still pull them fast, but just a little bit of thinking will help you down the road.
Gotcha.
Maybe this is going to save out of 21,000 taps. Maybe this saves 30 squirrel chews, which you got to find and fix. That's a lot of time. So that's why. And you can see here, we've done these. I can look and see they're pretty much right. Riley did these, so usually rookies miss stuff, but he's pretty good. We got him trained in. We walk the lines, and then we always tell people you got to turn around, look the other way. And the other thing we do is, we drive up in the 4-wheeler, but when you're done with your line, you do another line. But at the end of the day, you walk down and you observe what you pulled, try to find misses. Every year we probably get, no matter what, we seem to have 50 to 100 misses. But that's out of over 22,000.
Sure, and that's even being meticulous.
Yeah, we've had people that were, we had them in for a few days, and we were like, nope. And they'd miss 10%. Literally. Don't miss any. 10%, and they're just people don't have the spatial awareness. Some people do, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
And this hill is smaller taps. When I was a kid, there wasn't a tree on here. We used to pick blueberries up there.
Well, I noticed your rock wall. Is that from picking rocks in the field?
No, these are, New England rock stone walls. There was a wall here. I put a break in it to pull wood out. We've got a road up. This is one of our steeper areas. These trees, when I started out, they were probably averaged 5 inches. I've been tapping them for 30 years. Now they're probably average 9 to 10. They're almost reasonable. But you can see they're small.
Mm-hmm.
There's never seems to be a problem finding a hole.
But you're going to be 7.45 pounds.
Yeah.
You tapped in December.
A third of our trees are this size.
Okay.
I tried doing 7.4 when that's a big difference. We have big trees up on the hill in sections, and there's a section of big ones there.
I mean, what is that guy? That's 12?
Probably 9 to 10.
Huh.
9 inches.
30% of them are that big.
I had to get an exemption for
the organic?
organic, yeah. So what we've done is every 10 years we've religiously torn the tubing out. This is the third or fourth iteration of tubing here. I think the third. So
Why every 10?
thin it. Because if you're going to tap small trees, you got to keep them growing. These trees are like on steroids.
Wait, say that again. So you're going to thin the woods every 10 years.
Yeah, roughly. We're hoping to go 15.
But what are you thinning? Are you going to take one of these?
Well, yeah, we look at it like so. I would go in here. Probably that tree would be the one that goes.
And then what?
You're looking at.
So your
see
tap
that one
count,
with the double there next to the other one, greens all around it. I might take that one.
does your tap count
There's
drop?
one right there. That's our tap count. Went from 24,000 down to 21,600 over the 6 years. A lot of that was 2 tappers. We went to 1.
Gotcha.
We have trees this big. They've been tapped every year since 1948. They probably put 3 buckets on them.
Sure.
We're just going to do 1. So that helped our production per tap.
So the crown gets bigger, less competition?
Those trees, they're old. But these ones, the crowns get bigger and they get sweeter.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you'll remove one of these.
If you're going to tap a small tree, you got to have a growing small tree. Do not tap a small tree in an understory tree in mature woods. That's a mistake. We don't do that.
Gotcha.
This is a even age stand. Look at these trees. They're all about the same.
And they're not really competing. Like everybody's got.
These were thin 6 years ago. We may come in another year or two and mark out. I want to mark when I tap, because when I tap, I can see the quality of the tree when I drill a hole. Like, oh, that thing's going, and mark them, and then drop the tubing and cut. I think you could take. This is an area of about 2,000 taps. I bet you could take 100 trees out of here right now.
All right, say it again. So what did you say you're looking at when you're tapping?
Well, when you're drilling, you're looking for brown wood, or you're usually when you.
So you're going to try to
all around the tree. You might, if you're just marking trees, you might mark them, and then on the back side's a big wound or something that you didn't see.
Right.
When you're tapping, you see all those little defects, and you're looking up and like, look at that, and
Would you leave that tree and?
that's an understory tree, not bothering anything. That one I would leave.
Because it's going to be
not competing.
tappable.
It's not competing. This little one in the middle, the one tree, I'd take that one. Look at all those. There's 5 trees around it. They would all fill that hole in.
Huh.
So in here, we've got some really small one.
So you're obviously going to take something that's got a wound.
Yeah, we've backed off on. We're pretty much 8 to 9 before we tap it.
So if there's a wound.
Some of what we lost in tap count was trees we felt were too small, thinned out trees, 2 going to 1.
So you started at 24,000 taps, and you're down to 21.6.
21.6. We dropped from 21. We dropped 600 this year.
When you are thinning, is that lumber worth anything?
It's firewood, most of it.
Gotcha.
But we're also, some of the places we took logs out.
Okay.
We went heavy on the ash. There used to be ash dotting.
Was it worth anything, or is it just firewood?
Oh no, we had got good money for the ash.
Okay, good.
We left anything under a log that was nice. It was a nice log. Hopefully the emerald ash borer won't get those. There's not much ash around here, so we're thinking, they might just leave us alone. But the neighbors don't seem to get the idea that all their ash
is gone.
Dead. It's all dying along the road.
Yeah.
The last tree we cut, pretty much the last logable ash was last fall, and Alex grabbed it with the grapple and the bark peeled off, and there they were. And it was down to like 3 or 4 branches. And we're like, yep.
You can still mill it though, right?
Oh yeah, it wasn't dead. It was fine.
Sure.
We got really good money for that one.
Good.
We thought we got about 10 more. We're going to go out and mark them, and when we tap, I'm going to write them all down, and we'll go get them out. And we'll just leave the stuff that's not quite a log, and
Can you kill those bugs in when you're there?
They've killed every ash tree in North America pretty much.
So your spout puller, what's going to stop Leader from copying that?
Oh, they just won't bother because they don't use the same system we use.
I got you.
I mean, Alex just makes these for us.
But why wouldn't a regular spout puller work? Is it because it doesn't have that setback?
I don't know. They're not thin enough here. That's what we found. You can't get between the stubby. If they're all the way on, you can't get between there. And this is tapered just enough. They work.
Now, did you get Scott Wheeler one? He was talking about
We let him try one. Oh, I like mine.
But he said he wishes the stubby was a 1/8 inch.
He gets stuck in his ways. You know how Scott is. Hey, Scott, you get stuck in your ways. But, Al makes these, and he's pretty proud of it. I like them.
Yeah,
they're
heck
just
yeah.
nice. They work well.
Let me see that.
They're
thing.
lightweight. He makes them.
Oh yeah.
Sean's guys liked them. That's why he asked for 4.
Now, does he use stubbies then, Sean?
Yeah, he went this year. He went all to swap ear stubbies and check.
How did Jeff Corey's season go with the stubbies? I haven't talked to him yet.
Who?
Jeff Corey went to him.
Oh yes, he did.
Half of them.
I don't know. I just texted him today. I showed him my sign. He said I'm going to make a sign that says "More Moss."
More.
More instead of no more.
So he's still going, bro.
You know how the No Moss came out?
Was that?
Roberto Duran? He's a boxer, and he was in the title fight, and he was getting the heck beat out of him.
He just said no moss.
So he just went about the 4th round. He just threw a towel and went, "No Moss!"
I got you.
Roberto Duran. I think that's who it was.
Huh.
He was undefeated at the point. I forget who it was, but they were giving him a good beating.
This is definitely helpful, man.
Yeah, we thought this would be something.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted a video, so
Yeah. The most famous YouTube maple star is Dan Crocker.
Only because you said so. So, one of the things people should know is you get to the end, don't mess up. All the mistakes happen at the end. You're tired, people burn.
That's how you burn your pans.
Burn their pans. Oh yeah, things go wrong. The vacuum pump floods with oil and some junk. So, that's the neighbor getting his mail. So they get the mail in Vermont. You gotta use a 4-wheel.
It's a funny farm.
Yeah. So yeah, all the mistakes happen at the end, and like our new guy told him, this is when you got to be double vigilant about everything. You don't turn a valve, concentrate goes down the drain.
Your patience gets worn a little thin. Get a little grumpy.
We boiled twice yesterday because it was so hot. We wanted to move it was hot, the fluid. So I waited until 11, started a second pass. I boiled till 2, but I was kind of hanging out watching a movie in the sugar house. I can do that.
I can't believe how quiet those steam rigs are.
Yeah.
It was pretty quiet. Were you shocked it was running in there, Fred?
Yeah. Well, all the noise is in the boiler room.
Right.
And the boilers aren't even all that noisy. So. This is an interesting thing we did here. So this is low. We always get inversions, and it tends to freeze.
Well, explain an inversion to the
Inversion is-
Flatlanders.
On a night when it's crystal clear and it's going to drop temperature, it doesn't freeze up on top of the hill, and it might be very cold on the bottom, like 20 degrees difference. And so
You want the sap to flow.
we got like 600 feet of elevation. No, maybe not that much. We're about 850, 900 here. We go up to 14. So what happens is the sap trickles down. It gets into the cold section. Even if you don't have a leak, it'll freeze the main lines. So this line goes back over a mile. It's got 4,500 taps on it. Goes under the road here and then skirts around the hill. So used to freezing here. That's a heat tape. And we'll plug it in at night.
Okay.
And just leave it plugged in. And it keeps it from freezing. It's been great. We do it in a couple spots because it's not real steep, but it'll freeze. And then we ran it under the road. Actually, see, it goes under the road here and then cuts around. So the heat tape actually goes to the other side.
Can you explain why it's an advantage to use the black tubing? There's a couple reasons you like them.
Yeah. So we're sugaring all winter. So we started tapping on the 4th of December. And then we first boil was the 11th, I think, this year. So early in the year, throughout the winter, heat isn't your problem. It's cold. You want things to thaw. And the other thing we've learned over the years, especially the monitors, is when we get a leak, like the tubing leaks, it runs up to the main line, and then it'll freeze at the main line because the sap running by picks up the air sucks the energy out, it freezes really quick, turns into a frost ball.
It's like white.
Yeah, and with the black pipe, you can see the frost balls like from here right up the hill.
Yeah.
You see that line's been painted white. You can't see them as well. I always have trouble finding them on on the
So
white.
it was a black line that was painted white
Yeah,
to
'cause it's
protect
really
it from
hot.
UV, or
No, it's just hot. That's due southeast.
so that's the coolest
That's-
sap.
That's why we pulled it first. Yeah. So we did a bunch of that. Anywhere else, we'd rather see it black. And we have enough buried conductor lines that even today it was 68 and the sap was coming in at 51.
Because it went underground.
Yeah, and it's cold and it goes through wet areas and
But even like when it's
actually gets
really
chilled.
cold, doesn't it warm the sap up then?
yeah. So there's that issue too.
So that'll absorb heat faster when you want it to thaw.
Yeah. They
And
will get
then-
hotter. And there's a theory, I don't know if this is true, but everyone uses the blue translucent. But the truth of that, if you know what a greenhouse is.
Well, you were saying,
Yeah, you might not find the inside of that pipe is any hotter than a blue one. And I don't know if I...
well, you were saying about getting in a poly tank. When you get in a poly tank, it warms up in there.
Yeah. So you're really not heating it up a whole lot more. I think Alex dug up one study that said, yeah, it's a little hotter in a black pipe than a blue, but not that much.
Gotcha.
So, if that's not much, this is going to make you more syrup. And it's the syrup at the beginning of the year, which is the good syrup. At the end of the year,
Who cares?
You're already junked out anyway.
So this, you call this kind of flat.
Yeah, this is probably a 4% grade through here.
So just for the record,
Yeah, flats
it's a
1%.
mountain in a hurry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know how it is.
So how far does your tape go? Just underground here?
This goes up. I think it's a 300-foot tape. So you wrapped it here, and then I think we just ran it up straight along underneath the wet line on the other side.
So did it go through?
Yeah, we had to get it. Well, there was an extra sleeve.
I see
Did we
that.
run it through? Is that what we did?
It's got its own pipe.
I guess we did run it through the. Yeah, it does, and then it comes on the other because it doesn't freeze under the road. It
Right.
freezes before.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then there's some on the other side, and that's
Yeah.
to protect you from
The
inversion.
inversions, they made a big difference. It used to back up every day or anytime there was an inversion. Sometimes you get microclimates. Like I can tell if it's spitting snow, it's cold front, it'll freeze up high sooner than down here. And you see the sap slowing down. You're like, well, it's nice. Why is it, because it's cold up above.
I got
Other
you.
nights, it's 27 degrees down here and the sap is pouring in. One time I took a laser thing and I said, somebody watch the evaporator. And it was 26 degrees down here. I hit a tree, 26. I drove up, right up to there, it was like 27. I kept going up. When I got to the top of our woods, it was 39.
It was really running up there.
Yeah, it was pouring out up there. And I live up on the hill there, that's only 200 feet, maybe 300 feet from here up. And I'd go home at night, and it's 10 degrees difference all the time. That's why they put the apple orchards on the hills in New England and Vermont, because it doesn't freeze
The
up
cold
there in
air
the
will
fall.
drop.
In the fall, they wouldn't get the early frosts.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the other day it was 27 down here. It was 32 up the top. Didn't even freeze up there. And it was solid.
So it's warmer typically at your house.
And we can look at the monitors. The other day they were all frozen. All the monitors were red. They were reading low. They'd frozen up down here, and they were all green up top. A couple last week when we were getting that spitty snow, they were all green down here and all red up top. So they were all going down. They were frozen a little bit. So we can kind of, just looking at that map, you can see where the cold air is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
that is interesting.
Yeah, so we still got 22 inches of vacuum when I shut the pump off 3 hours ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And we just pulled spouts, so we drained a
Look at that sap coming in.
Yeah, that's barely trickling in.
But it's just pumping on the ground anyway. It's like you're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, it's like, look at that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like-
You don't want that on your boot.
This is water on the other side, I think. Alex is soaking it. So we cleaned that releaser and soaking in some Clorox or something, and then we'll
Gotcha.
wash it. So that's being sterilized. We'll clean this one, but this is the one when we clean tubing. You don't get very much. We'll just use this side,
I got you.
and that one will be done for the year.
So you're supposed to clean them at the end of the year.
Yeah, and then he will run. Yeah, exactly. So he's got a line here that we broke. It's this one. So he will hook from our spring line into that, and we will make. This is another important thing at the end. The end permeate you get from the sap is super acidic, not good for your membranes. So what we do is we give them a wash or two, then we take our well water, our spring water. It's a spring. And we fill, that's why he's sterilizing those tanks. We'll fill all three of those 7,000 gallon tanks. And then we'll run low pressure, about 100 PSI, and we throw away 50% of the concentrate. So we keep the other 50%. So
Of the throw away the permeate.
yeah, no, we throw the concentrator. We've set it like 50-50. So half is permeate, half is concentrate.
I got you.
So it's low pressure.
Oh, you're using spring water.
Right. And so
So it's not acidic.
We build up a huge pile of spring. First we fill the tanks.
Gotcha.
Then we throw half of it away. So 21,000.
So you got it coming right off the mountain here.
Yeah. 21,000 comes out to about 10,000 or whatever we can store.
So you're just running it lightly through the ROs.
Yep. And then we use that to do our cleaning with. And it's much
When you
better.
say cleaning,
All the ROs we do
End of
acid
season
wash,
cleaning.
End of season, couple soap washes.
you don't want to
Then
use
some-
that vinegar water.
Yeah, we don't exactly. This is I just set this up. That's our spring line coming in, and I bought. We have a hose that just cam locks on, and you can spray it here. It's way up on the hill. It's got pretty good pressure. And also, this line will run our backup liquid ring pump, so we can shut it off from there, and you can see it.
Oh, wow. And that's just coming right off the mountain.
Yeah, just let it trickle off. So we just bought a little pressure washer and hooked it up. So I got a little hose that hooks on.
To clean the...
Clean the releasers. So yeah. So
oh, look at this access. That's nice.
Oh yeah. So pressure washer, and just take the hose, hook it on, switch your valves. There's your thing. Hit the switch.
I
and go.
got you.
And at night, I figured out at night I had to keep it moving.
I noticed you built a bigger screen around
Yes.
your submersible pump
Right.
because you got tired of cleaning that little screen.
Yeah, and those work good. They'll go days.
Is that something you just built?
Yeah,
That's-
we just made it. It works. It
Otherwise, it happens a lot. You'll
yeah, we have one down below. It's only 4,000 taps. We had to clean it twice yesterday. These ones went 2-3 days.
Wow.
These got 10,000 each.
And really, you just made it.
Yeah, we just made it up with some stainless screen and rolled it and see
How'd you connect it to the 4-inch or 6-inch?
We just pushed it on.
I got
And it
you.
doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to keep the big nasty.
You're just trying to keep the gunk out of it.
This was another thing I made. I had an old hose. So this at night, if it's going to freeze, we got to leave the water running. So that way it just kind of pisses off into the brook.
I got you.
I hooked this up and we can shut it all off and just.
Now, I'd be interested to see, like, at the top, is it just in the ground?
This?
Yeah,
it
at the
goes-
source.
It's running up there, right on that, and then it goes underground, under the field, and then it's underground almost to the spring from there. I think it runs on the ground a little.
And then
bit
you have a
out
well
the spring.
point on the end to keep,
There's
like...
a big cement, well thing. It's
I got you.
I think there's.
Was that here before you were?
No, that was
You did that?
That spring had been used for my farmhouse,
I got you.
but it hadn't been used in years, and it was just coming out of the ground. And we just dug it out. We had an excavator. We dug it out, put stone in it. You can drink that water.
So what about a spray ball inside? Do you have one inside?
We tried using vacuum. That was this experiment, which we're going to take out. And it just wasn't enough to rip the stuff off. And that was the problem with just the hose on here.
But with that,
you get it's pretty weak, but it's enough pressure so you can just hit it and clean everything.
but you're tearing the end off to do it.
Yeah, we take both ends off. We can bleed the vacuum right here. We switch everything to one, clean that one, switch back to these, clean that one, and then we break the flow however we want.
Zach Hargrove had watered every pump house out there in New Brunswick, and he just had a valve
Yeah.
on a spray ball with pressure, and then he would just run a CIP.
Yeah. Probably could do that.
With that pressure, you could, but not with this, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
But I think he had a well jet pump.
yeah, that would do it. He had more,
But even with, you would almost need like two, because if you had one in the middle,
yeah, you'd need two in there. You could probably do it.
just so you don't have to take the edge off, or the cap off the end.
And it never comes off. I mean, you always have to scrub that.
To get it off, yeah.
Yeah, you need pressure.
But this is a great idea here, because everybody's screens get plugged.
Yeah. They
And-
have trays too that go across, but you got to pull it. I don't know. That's a huge amount of filtering.
That is.
it's
Because the pump inside there's only like
Yeah.
2 inch or so.
It's 3-inch. Yeah. This
And then
one-
it has its regular
This is a
screen.
backup pump. On big days we use it. It doesn't have one. We tried to make one. It just didn't work.
I
But
see
we can
what
shut
you're
it
saying.
off and clean the screen on the go.
So on a big run, that has to
Yeah.
turn on too.
Generally, by the time it gets this nasty, we can run it one pump. It's only a 3
Yeah.
days. Alex and I had one day this year. That screen clogged. It was pouring in. We needed all 3 pumps. So we were in here. Go. It's like we got everything ready. I'm on the other side. Pull it out. Clean the screen. Shove it in. And these guys were right up to the top. If these overflow, because we have a town road that goes down, under the town road and up to where the vacuum pump is, and at the bottom is another releaser where the pump is.
Just safety.
That's for the humidity and the last ditch before it's got a.
So this, when you run both pumps, do you just have a switch?
Yeah, we can override them right here. They're on drive. There's float ball in there.
But do they run in unison then when you're running them together?
That's the problem with this one because we want that to be the primary, and the ball floats don't give you a lot of leeway. So we got to get Clayton to build this. That's one thing we got to do is a probe where the with
The electronic probe?
Yeah, so we can really adjust. One could run on the ball float, and that'd be the primary, and this one would if it gets too high, it would kick in, but it would shut down before the other one.
I got
So
you.
you can do. So we don't quite have one. This one we probably should have another pump too.
And that's sap running in. You don't even care about.
No, it's garbage.
Man.
I mean, by the time, don't even get me started.
Dude,
It's really-
they call that West
you
Virginia
can-
special. That's what that is. That's Ohio special right there.
Yeah, probably.
See these Vermont guys? They just got it coming so much that they just run the sap on the ground. They don't even care about that extra sap. That's more sap than most people get in a year. Look at this. Just they're running. And what's Dan do with
Put it
it?
right in there. You can see in.
He just,
You can see
it's just going right on the ground.
and that's
This
yeah.
is
We
just
shut it
not
off
even.
3 hours ago. If we had more vacuum.
So how
It only-
difficult is this to run through the
From 11
process?
o'clock last night to 11 this morning, I only got 2,500 gallons of sap.
We're lucky we
Pretty
got
ugly
something.
looking stuff. By the time you get around enough to process, man.
Well, let me ask you this: how awful is it to process it when it gets this late in the year?
It wasn't too bad this year. We did really well. A bag of DE for 200 gallons of syrup.
Jeez.
You know, you gotta load it with the DE because there's nothing in it.
The jumpers. Fred hasn't caught the last episode.
The last episode. You haven't watched it?
I haven't watched
Come on, Fred, get on it.
Fred hasn't watched like the last 5 or 6. I'm a little disappointed.
told us last time.
Yeah, so it's you can shut the valve off and watch the sap. It'll come around, but the air comes first, so you can see a drop of it.
Doesn't watch our own channel.
You look for it.
Fred doesn't watch the channel. Cheryl does. Thanks, Cheryl.
Well, we're making the Bissell Special today.
Yeah.
Last boil of the year.
And you said it
No.
smells good. Bissell Special.
Actually, our processing this year was pretty good for processing. It never got worse. In fact, it got a lot better after we had those 2 17-degree days. The sap looked like that. It cleared up. Had almost clear sap. The flavor came back. It was crazy. I've
You
never
could
had
get to
it
8 pounds if you kept boiling.
No, don't do that.
I have too much success.
My brain.
I can't have that much. I'm just tired of winning, Dan says.
No, I haven't won. The kid down the road, 16-year-old kid's made over 8 pounds per tap.
Really?
He's got 1,200 taps. He's at about 960 gallons.
Is that because you're helping him?
Well, we did help him. And his dad walks vacuum for us. His dad helped him. But the people, I set them up. He's a senior in high school, homeschooled.
And how
And
many
that was
taps
his-
does he have?
They had 1,200 taps there. Alex and I fixed up the
What's
woods.
his name?
His name is Solomon Hassan.
Solomon?
Solomon.
I'd like to
Hassan.
come and do a video with you.
Oh, yeah, he'd be great.
That would be good.
He's probably over there right now.
He's whooping you.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's because he's not running sap in the ground.
I think it might be today.
Every farmer from Wisconsin's watching that going, I'd boil it. I would too.
No?
That's it, huh? That's the end?
So we bring all the I'll bet you're almost full. You watch.
Yeah, there's quite a bit in there.
There, it'll fill it right here at the end.
So this is the last drum.
This is it. We held out for you, Nate.
I know, I appreciate it.
All day long, waiting around.
I communicated
I
though.
was up till 2 in the morning. I could have been taking a nap. And I was sitting here waiting for you. To
So
show
you
the
could have
last boil.
Did you cut your hair for this?
Yeah, I cut it for this.
Attaboy.
I did too.
I
You guys
finally
trimmed
waited.
up?
Yeah,
Feel like Nate's coming.
I got it.
The ladies are watching.
Well, my haircut lady's in Chester, and so is my lady that does my quarterlies. So I combined the trip.
Chester. We went through Chester.
Yep, that's right on 103. There's a good pub in Chester. It's open 7 days a week, lunch and dinner. It's called McCloman's. It's a Scottish pub.
I like Scottish ale.
Yeah, they got everything Scotland in there. The guy's Scottish, the owns
Oh, really?
he and his wife. Yeah, so if you're ever going through Chester,
I don't know where we're
right
going
when
next.
it comes out, it's almost right there.
We probably drove right by
Little
it.
thing you see McCloman's. It's MACCLOH.
We went to a place called Two Brothers last night in Middlebury.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
You know
No.
about the Scotsman that dropped the nickel in the oats and his horse ate it? The next day he was out in the pasture with a stick digging around.
My mother's a Campbell. This was a liter evaporator. I was in a real hurry in 2012 when I built the sugar house. Our first year's sugaring was 213
Well, before you even start your story, why are you telling the story?
because I want to sell it.
This is for sale.
Yeah.
So hold on. This steam rig right here, and Dan will even autograph it for you.
Yeah.
So you can get an autographed Dan Crocker evaporator.
This, because I was in a hurry. Leader said, "Oh, we know how to make a steam pan," and they made it, and the coils were terrible. They broke every other day. It was constant out, and so we tried to figure out what to do, and that's, it was a mistake buying it. But as Clayton at MES says, well, it brought us to where we are now. So my neighbor Joe, who was a
So you're
steam guy-
saying Clayton had to fix the coils,
right? So
which then helped him learn how to make steam
we
rigs.
didn't fix the coils. We had another guy fix them. We decided we needed a better system. So my neighbor Joe, who's an old steam fighter from years ago, he was saying...
You said steam fighter?
Well, a steam fitter.
Steam fitter, okay.
Fitter, fighter, they do the same thing.
All right.
So anyway, he and Clayton and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to do best to work with the pan we had. And that's how the MAS steam coils came out. Clayton and I were just talking about today.
So this rig right here developed...
The first set of coils that
I got
MAS
you.
made.
I got
It's from right here.
So a lot of innovation came out of the sugar house.
And then we took the float boxes off because everyone in the old days, the leader thought, well, you make a steam pan like a regular pan. Wrong. You don't need float boxes. You want to come off the end, not the side. There was a lot of things. It's a different pan, and they
Well, how do you feed it then?
we feed it. It got feeds in the side.
Well, show me like there's no float box then.
No, so there's a level control up there. There's a level. We have
Okay,
another pan-
I see. So that's your preheaters.
And that's a preheater.
Do they get the preheater? Do they get the
Oh, yeah,
preheater?
they get everything.
All right, we got the they get the
The
preheater.
draw off. All the draw. These are.
Is this an MES
these are
draw off
switch
tank?
size, yep.
Right, floppy.
No, it's Donald Bob here made this for me 25 years ago.
All right,
It still works.
another valuable antique.
Yeah. So automatic draw, for the switch sides, level control for the top.
So the level control. Explain how the level control works.
So it's just a probe. There's a see it right there in the
So that probe opens that.
opens this one.
That one.
So there's another pan on the top of this. That was for return steam, and we had enough boiler. We put live steam in there. It doesn't work very good. Throw it away if you want. You
What
can
is it?
right
What is it again up there?
It's another pan. It's got 3 bays in it.
But you're not really using it.
You know, we use it a little bit, but the idea was to put the return condensate through there to cool it.
Everybody's talking about cooling condensate.
Yeah, so that's what that's for. It doesn't work that good.
Well, explain to me. It's a really important thing about late season sap and how if you didn't have steam,
it makes it really
you
hard
couldn't
to
make
it.
Bissell Special.
Well, you could, but you're risking your beautiful flue pan.
So because you don't have a flue pan, you're not the risk of burning this with late season sap, with really unruly sap, foamy sap.
Yeah. You don't
So
have those issues.
really, this has been paid for with sap you couldn't even run with a conventional evaporator.
You probably could run a conventional, but you might burn it up.
And is it worth it if you burn it up?
No.
No.
No. So that's
So how many years has this been?
the first year was 2013. We ran, I think, 2 or 3 years with the leader coils, and then we went to the MES coils, and that's how all his steam pans are now. They're all those same coil systems.
I got you.
But the evaporator's a leader. It's just, yeah, it works.
It's
if
time.
somebody wanted to get into steam and get in, it's expensive. So, but if you want to get in cheap, I'm willing to sell this thing for just what I could tear off of it and put it on my new steam pan, which is about $12,000.
So this is
it's a
what's the
4 by
size?
10. It's a 4
So
by 10.
4x10 steam rig.
You need a 75 to 100 horsepower boiler, make 100 gallons an hour at 20%, 120 if you went to 23. And it works.
Warren Boxler. This could be your extra steam rig. Warren,
Yeah.
I could even help you get it to your place. This will match your MES evaporator. It's shiny. It'll go perfectly in that
This is where
timber
the
frame
money is.
sugar house.
This is where the money is. The money back here with the traps and the manifold.
Does that
which
go
would
with it?
Yeah, the manifold comes up right here. All goes with it. All of this.
So 12
This
grand.
is like $5,000 worth of stuff right here. All the traps,
I believe it.
all the plumbing, the flex
Check
hoses,
valves.
the valves.
Right there. What pressure do you run this?
80 pounds. So
80
we don't use up our boilers. So a 75 horse, a 60 would almost run it. I think we'd run it a little bit.
But a 75.
Perfect for this.
And you just got your
10
boiler all redone.
10 to 20,000 taps would be really nice in. We
And
had 20
give the viewer like what else is valuable, like what
well, the
else.
draw-off tank, a new one's $3,000, so that goes with it. The table,
But also like steam versus conventional.
steakers.
Don't you agree that probably somebody who already has steam understands?
Yes, it's someone that doesn't have it that wants to get in. It's the ease of cleaning. It's the ease of boiling. It's when I had traditional evaporator, I was nervous about anybody running it. The steam, anybody runs it.
Gotcha.
You need to know a little bit about boilers. And that's where MES, where Clayton's really good with rehabbing boilers.
Gotcha.
Let's take a look at the boiler.
Is that going with it for free?
No, the boiler doesn't now. I'm just keeping the boiler. I just had it rebuilt last
Yep.
year. The beauty. MES rebuilt it all. It was in pretty good shape, but it needed rebuilt. And it was a 65, so it's got new tubes, painted the outside, which I had already.
How many horsepower is this?
100. So,
100 horsepower.
so that's just, you know, it's running at low fire right now.
Yeah, new
So
controller.
All new electrics. We built everything on the back. We got 2 heat pumps. I would sell this with it because I want a bigger one.
What is that called?
That's the return tank.
I got you.
But I could keep it too. I'm not sure I want to sell. It's a lot of plumbing.
Yeah.
It'd be better for someone to start with.
So 12 grand, you can get yourself into a
Get into steam really easy.
get into steam, and I can help you do it. Probably trade you for some syrup or something if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, and you could run this for a few years. That's the mistake I made. Because when I bought that boiler, the steam pan came with it. It was a funky one. I was nervous about it. I should have put it in and run it for a year or two.
Just to
And
practice.
I was nervous. Yeah, I was nervous because I only made 40 gallons an hour. But then I learned the guy was only going to 10%. So it would have been big enough. I could have run it.
Look at all this juice.
Yeah.
So you're trying and hoping to make it.
Kill the boiler. Yeah, I'll do that.
So you got the deep coils too, probably.
Yeah, there's 3 layers.
3 layers of coils in there. 3 layers of coils. This is a historical piece of equipment. I think you'll sell it with this video. And you've earned it, dude. All the help you've helped all the farmers.
So what's your commission?
Oh, it's 10%. 1,200 bucks. No biggie.
We'll think about it.
No, I don't need a commission. As much as you've helped me with my channel and people that you've helped, I think you guys deserve this to
The
sell it.
Ohio guys are
We're all right.
good people.
We're all right. We're good at football and deer raising.
We're good at soccer in Vermont.
Yeah?
My alma mater, the University of Vermont, NCAA champions, Division 1 this year.
Really?
Oh yeah, little Vermont.
Well,
You know,
guys-
those big schools don't even give out a scholarship, and we still won.
no kidding.
So
That's
they're
awesome, though.
I played for them too.
Did you really?
I almost played.
Oh yeah, this is it. Are you like excited? This is the end of the season. Yeah.
Always is.
Yeah, you're sad to see it go.
You laugh and then you cry.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
A couple days ago, we were like, oh, I can't wait to be done, and then you're at
Then
the
you
moment,
close
you're like,
everything
you
off.
get a little bit of energy, adrenaline, ready to go. You're like, oh, get some more.
Well, what else you got? What else you gonna sell? We're having an auction here. What else you gonna move one of these ROs?
Oh yeah, we want to sell the acid tank. So we take all our acid, and we reuse it all year in that old stainless tank there.
So you got an acid tank for sale?
I don't know, just probably should keep it.
Maybe.
It was made for a truck. It's got 2 bays.
I got you.
But it's a stainless square tank. It works. It's got a little rust in it.
I still don't understand that extra. Is it a preheat?
This
That
the
extra.
heater's up there.
Yeah, but I still don't understand that.
That is just 3 bays. Look up. Go up on the ladder and look
okay.
in. It was made for cooling the condensate.
These ladders aren't made for me.
But that ladder's really-
Yeah, you're right. Yep, we're good. We're good. Barely. All
On
right.
the other side.
So there's 3 bays with inch
But-
coils.
I
Yeah,
got
and
you.
there's a drip tray in between there.
Okay, this will help. So there's your preheater.
Inch and a half coil in each one.
That preheater is serious. I got you. And then there's.
The reality is it's a little condensate. I should have put a preheater on first. I should have never done that. I took the old leader coils, turned them on end, and turned them into the preheater.
I got you. So these were the leader coils.
Those are the old leader coils.
So the leader coils are now the preheater. So that's what was in there for steam. They're a smaller diameter.
Yeah, there was more of them. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
1-inch pipes, and they were on a manifold system. Manifold systems aren't that good with steam.
Okay. So now it's a preheater.
Yeah.
And then inside you kind of had a preheat system too.
Well, that boils actually.
So this will boil.
It doesn't boil well.
I understand. So if you took this out, you actually may gain efficiency
Yeah,
because you're going to have direct steam on your preheat.
yeah, you could take that pan out and drop it. The top thing goes right on this. This is a leader actually did give me good. They said put this on here and then you can get in without having to lift the lid every time.
Oh yeah, you're talking the door?
Yeah. So we put a couple extra doors in it.
Yep.
They didn't put enough. That's why there's this metal one,
Gotcha.
and it needs a new gasket and cleaned up a little bit.
But still, probably the reason that you still have this on here is all the plumbing and stuff runs through it.
Yeah, right now.
But you could take it out of height.
Just put the preheater on. It'd be a lot easier to clean because that's a pain cleaning the upper one. We don't like doing it.
I got you.
They could throw that in, scrap it,
Or use it.
use it. Yeah.
But you actually may gain efficiencies.
You won't gain efficiency. If you cooled the return condensate, well, if you had a smaller boiler and used it up, it wouldn't be a problem. But we don't use up our boilers, so we've got pretty hot condensate returning.
What happens if your condensate's too hot?
Well, it's just harder to pump it with the pumps.
Oh, it cavitates.
So we have a closed system. All of MES systems are closed. So you need to keep pressure in the tank or else it boils.
I got
Because
you.
it's above, it's 250, 260 degrees. So if you don't have any pressure, that's when steam's called flash steam. Flash steam is when 250 degree condensate goes to atmosphere. It's boiling's 210. It goes poof right to.
I got you. And then the pump can't push it.
Yeah, and the pump doesn't like pushing hot liquid as much.
I got
So
you.
it's nice to cool it. We just keep the pressure on. We have a gauge on the tank. We know exactly. We have to keep it.
How many gallons an hour will this rig at what concentrate?
Well, 20%, it'll make basically 100. We
20%.
drain it down every day too. We basically draw it clean, so we have to start fresh. If we just did like everyone else and shut it off, it'd make 100 gallons an hour.
Right away.
But we takes 45 minutes to get the first draw. 'Cause
I
we're
got
starting
you.
With nothing. And we pump our filter press through. So
Why do you do that? So at the end, do you make it really heavy and combine it with what's in there?
Sometimes it just draws off until it's almost gone.
I got you.
And then we drain the top pan into the bottom. We pump 30 gallons of water through our filter press into it. We kill the steam on the boiler. We let it go down. We boil in there.
Gotcha.
Just let it boil and then we shut it off. So it's all ready to go. And that's residual steam that would just go away. It would cool down the boiler. So we're
I
not
got
really
you.
wasting anything. And our filter press is a 15-inch press. There's probably a gallon or 2 gallons of syrup in there every time you change it if you don't run water through it. Some people don't know that.
So that's 15 gallon. How many?
It's a 15-inch press.
15-inch press.
There's at
And
least-
how much syrup is left in there?
Well, I know that if we run 30 gallons of water through it and we put it in the draw-off tank and measure it, it's about 12%.
So you figured out
there's
it's a
a
couple
lot.
gallons of syrup.
There's a couple gallons of syrup. You change that thing 20, you throw away a drum of syrup.
I got you.
There's people
That adds
don't know
up.
that. Yeah, even a small.
So a 20-inch press is double, really.
Yeah, 10-inch press, you should be putting water through it. You know.
So a 20-inch press would have 4 or 5 gallons in it if it was
Yeah,
full bank.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the sweet that's in all the D and everything. So we run that hot water. It comes off. We keeps in that barrel over there. That barrel.
That's your hot water barrel?
Yeah, it's an old stainless 55-gallon drum.
And this is how you clean your filter press at the end of the night.
We'll run it. We'll run all the stuff through, pump it in. Then we hook this.
This is your overflow.
Yep, that just overflows, and we just hooks in right here. And then we'll hook in.
And then you run this through your filter
We
press.
just feed the filter press from this.
Because there's 12 bricks in there.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, this is 2 gallons.
This is pure water.
Right.
The bricks are in there.
Once
the
water goes through there,
it just sucks
12
hot
bricks.
water, gets all the sugar out of it. And it makes
cool.
it easier to clean the press. So we
Oh
can clean
yeah,
it
and your
first in the
DE's
morning.
like white
Yeah.
after that.
Go the DE things over here.
You guys using filters like felts, or do you use regulars?
We just take it.
Oh yeah, okay. The cake's a lot whiter in color.
This thing's great. It goes, so we move the drums with the fork with the skid steer. And then this thing, we have a set of forks, it's automatic, so you switch off, hook them in, we put it over there by the landing, and you come in, and that thing's an automatic dump, and you just come up to the dumpster,
Hit it.
and it just tips over and dumps
Yep.
everything out, back out, we'll wash it over here. And,
Very cool. Did you buy that new?
yeah, I bought it last year, we were really
Those like
happy.
$600, easy.
Oh, this was probably $1,200.
Yeah.
It was $800, I can't remember.
That's a serious
You can
one.
get a bigger one. This does about 2 to 3 changes on them.
I
About
got
every
you.
third day, after we move the drums, we take that out. Kind of move the drums when it's full. We love that. We used to take a wheelbarrow. Look at
Oh,
that
it's
stuff.
awful. We always do it, and then the bees love that thing. You got to clean it out when you're done. The bees will.
You know, there's a guy over by Bascom's got buffalo, and he feeds some Bascom stuff because they like the cellulose, and the D keeps them getting worms.
Seriously.
Yeah, he feeds the buffalo. They're tough. They eat trees and stuff. They don't eat just buffalo
Stones
were
and
all the way in
sticks.
New York State, they were eating trees and
That's a good point.
yeah, they eat everything. They're wild.
What's that?
We feed them Clifford.
Clifford. He probably cleans his insides a little bit. All
He
right.
doesn't have worms.
So that is a good deal for somebody. That's a good deal. What'd you got? How much DEs you put in?
That parcel I put it in.
Last drum, guys. How much have you put through this press today?
Not much. If you don't, that had 41, so that's probably got 20. So that was had 41 in it. So that was probably 14 to finish that.
The Bissell Special.
20. He's gonna fill this drum,
I got you.
which is what I thought. We'd
Yeah.
make about.
So in all reality, you broke even if you only make one drum a day. Two drums.
Yeah, you can see from 11 o'clock tonight.
You really did this as a favor.
Yesterday we made 300 gallons.
Okay.
So today we're making barely 100.
I got
know
you.
We will make 100.
It's
So watch how much tea he puts in there. This is what you got to do at the end of the year. There's no sugar stands. Bag of D for 200 gallons of syrup. Our filter press pump is just about dead.
I hear
We
it.
got a new one sitting upstairs. We decided next year we'll put the new
It's
one
probably
on.
only running on one diaphragm.
Yeah,
Definitely is.
that's 12 years. We got a new one. We'll rebuild this one.
Sounds like me when I was walking up the hill with Dan, is what it sounds like.
And 8 Bissell lungs.
Oh, yeah.
Our D pump. Inside ain't working so good.
So this is a little trick to get more into your drum. You guys have a little wedge under it, so
Yeah,
it's
we
tilted
tip 'em
that way. You get more in a drum.
Yeah, in our drums, we weigh them. Most people don't. We know exactly the pounds going in and out of here.
He has to do that because the packers will screw him over.
Yep. Yeah, we know back can, right? We don't trust him. No. It's nice for us. It's nice to know where the pounds are.
100%,
We
man.
know if somebody made a mistake. It's also, we know our density. We know it's, wait a minute, why is this thing only like, we're running, 430 pounds. They should be going 440 to 440.
Little light on the draw, maybe
So
that's
ours
it.
are always within a few pounds, and some of that's just how much filled.
Sure.
But if you start running up, definitely don't want to make them 450 on these, because then you're giving these guys these.
Oh,
companies,
I got
they're
you.
Rich, they don't even make more money off this.
So what bricks do you run yours to?
We run it what it's supposed to be.
Ah. What's the state law again, Fred?
7 in Vermont.
Oh, no, 66.9 in the state of Vermont.
Yeah.
So that's what they run it at.
Yeah.
That's I gathered that.
Bury that red line. That's a famous quote.
Bury the red line. We like when you bury that red line, definitely.
Yeah.
It
You guys
definitely
wanna
helps.
see that.
Absolutely.
Listen a little bit.
I wanna.
So
I
here's
like
the-
68 Breck syrup.
Here's the story about heavy. So, a guy I knew, there was a new guy who came up from Massachusetts and bought a maple clarinet. And a friend of mine, actually, it was Clayton's father, went down, and the guy's filling his drums, and he's trying to get him right on the line. And he was just goofing with him. He says, just make it thick. We're selling it by the pound. And I said, okay. So I go down there 2 years later, and I said, Mark, why are you making your drums 2.5 points heavy. Doesn't matter. I pick selling it by the pound. And I told him, well then, don't fill that drum up, weigh it, and then add the water to make the right density. And he looked at me and says, whoa! He would make it a point or point and a half, 2 points thick.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you don't want to do that. You're giving money away.